Good evening, good people. Thank you for being here and welcome. It is always such a blessing to see you all coming back again and again and again to these mass calls. And if this is your first time, I want to give you a special welcome. And for folks that might be watching the recording after tonight's live stream, welcome to you as well. I don't regard it robbery for you to take time out of your busy and chaotic schedules to be in community with us together. So thank you for being here. My name is Ashley Woodard Henderson, and I'm going to be your friendly MC for this evening. I'm going to share a couple of quick housekeeping things while y'all get settled in. Take your shoes off, grab your water, your tea, or your drink of choice, your snacks, whatever you need to get through this evening while we get all settled in. One, I do want you to continue this process of saying hello in the chat. Some of you have been here since 7:30. Y'all were prepared and not going to be late to tonight's conversation. I see you and I love you. For those of you that have already said hello, I want you to do this again. And for folks that are just joining, definitely say hello. But instead of just sharing your location or the organization that you're rocking with, I want you to let me know, how was your No Kings event? Tell me how you experienced it. So again, feel free to share your name, feel free to share your location as well. But really what I want you to tell me is, how was No Kings? This is a great time as well to tell everybody that you know that you're watching the live stream and invite them to come and join us too. We already have what, almost 8,000 people on tonight and growing by the second. So the only reason folks will miss is if we didn't invite them, and I think you can do that. So please hit your listservs, go in the group chats, share on socials, let them know that it is the place to be this evening. Y'all, the call is already so big tonight. We're all on YouTube. So if you're looking for a Zoom link, don't worry, there wasn't one. We're all in the right place. If you're watching on the live streams now, make sure you spread the good word that we are here together. And I want to be honest with you, because it's so many of us in one place, the YouTube chat can get a little wild. So don't worry, you've got some options about how you can stay up to speed on what's going to go down in the chat tonight in terms of our links and such. So let me give you a few of the housekeeping rules. First, we will always and forever record these calls. So for folks that have been asking in the chat already this evening, we're going to send out the recording and all the links that you need to sign up for what's next first thing tomorrow. So you're going to get access to all of that. If you didn't sign up on Mobilize, that's not a problem either. Maybe you got this link from a friend or whatever. Don't stress. All of the links about what's next are going to be up at nokings.org/what's-next. And you might have noticed that's also, which way? I think this way on the screen over here. So you'll be able to see it there, and we'll be dropping it throughout the evening in the chat. It's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. And again, we're going to send it out. You're going to hear me say this again and again throughout the evening. If there's a resource or a next step that you're looking for that we talked about tonight, it's going to be up at nokings.org/what's-next. And we'll be dropping them in the chat. And if you signed up on Mobilize, you'll be getting them via email first thing tomorrow morning. And some of y'all may know me and how I do this from other mass calls in our movement. But for those of you that are on Blue Sky, we're going to be tracking and chatting with folks over there. So use the hashtag #NoKings or hashtag #NoKings What's Next to help us find your post. Feel free to tag me. If you're using other social media that's not Blue Sky, feel free to put it there. And as I'm able, while also emceeing the call, I'll try to shout you out and respond. Last but certainly not least, we may have some trolls here tonight. And we may have folks that aren't trolls, but maybe just disagree with some of the things that they've seen us do. And that's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't give your energy to it. Our back-end team is tracking so that we can keep focused on each other, as well as our incredible lineup of speakers. Again, we can disagree with one another, but what we're not going to do is create an atmosphere of hate or disruption. And so if you see messages that are from the trolls, I want you to just flood the chat with messages of solidarity and love, and really keep your attention on these amazing leaders that you can trust that are going to be speaking to us tonight. And speaking of that lineup, here's what we've got for y'all tonight. Y'all, we're going to celebrate because, again, you all have made history. No Kings 3 was a major milestone, and we want to give y'all your flowers for all the work that you did to make it so. We're also going to reflect. You're going to hear from speakers across the labor movement, immigrant defense, and grassroots community organizing on how we got to this moment, what it means, and what we're committed to doing next. And yes, we're going to talk about what's next. So I want you to stick around till the end of the call, because if there's one thing we want you to know coming out of tonight, it's that we don't stop here. You heard at the No Kings event that you attended that one day of protest is not the end all be all of our work, that there's some more work to be done. We're going to be talking about that all the way through the end of the call. So please stay. And if you have to leave early, please check the recording, and please go to the website, nokings.org/what's-next, so that we can make sure that we're doing that sacred work moving forward. Now, let's kick off the celebration. You're going to see an incredible video that recaps what we all did over the weekend. Tune in.
Is there fire in your eyes? Is there fire in your eyes? We can melt that ice. We can melt that ice. If we stand and fight. If we stand and fight. We're gonna be alright. We're gonna be alright. Is there fire in your heart? Is there fire in your heart? And you can do your part. You can do your part. Be a shot in the dark. Be a shot in the dark. Till that powder spark. Till that powder spark. When faith is hard to find. When faith is hard to find. When hope is on the decline. When hope is on the decline. Remember, hate gives time. Remember, hate gives time. Keep that steel in your spine. Keep that steel in your spine. When faith is hard to find. When faith is hard to find. When hope is on the decline. When hope is on the decline. Remember, hate gives time. Remember, hate gives time. Keep that steel in your spine. Keep that steel in your spine. Is there fire in your mind? Is there fire in your mind? Get on the front line. Get on the front line. 'Cause overthinking dies. 'Cause overthinking dies. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Is there fire in your feet? Is there fire in your feet? Then start marching to the beat. Then start marching to the beat. No backing down, no retreat. No backing down, no retreat. Till everybody gets free. Till everybody gets free. When faith is hard to find. When faith is hard to find. When hope is on the decline. When hope is on the decline. Remember, hate gives time. Remember, hate gives time. Keep that steel in your spine. Keep that steel in your spine. When faith is hard to find. When faith is hard to find. When hope is on the decline. When hope is on the decline. Remember, hate gives time. Remember, hate gives time. Keep that steel in your spine. 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 Keep that steel in your spine.
Folks, we did that. You did that. 8 million strong of you. Whether this was your first time showing up at a protest, or whether you've been throwing down on No Kings since last spring, or whether organizing is deeply rooted work for you that's been your practice for years or decades, I want to say thank you. These actions matter. Your intervention mattered. They show us our power, and they are an opportunity, an invitation for us to keep on building our power. I think by now we all know a single day of protest doesn't change everything overnight, whether it's policy or culture or anything. We know that. But that's not what this mass mobilization was for. A day like No Kings does 3 things that, in my estimation, no other tactic can do as well. I'm going to tell you those 3 things. First, it makes the scale of opposition legible to participants, to the uncommitted middle, and to the opposition. We can't manufacture that visibility through digital campaigns or legal briefs. Second, it transforms private discontent into public identity. People walk away knowing that they're a part of something bigger than themselves. They're not just scared or angry or grieving alone. That's raw material for our sustained organizing. And third, last but certainly not least, it shifts the cost calculus for elites. When 1 million people, no less 8 million people, are in the streets, Every institution, from corporations to military leadership to swing district electeds, have to recalculate what compliance with authoritarian forces costs them. The real question here isn't, does a protest change everything? It's, can you build a sustained anti-authoritarian campaign without mass demonstration? And I think we can say unequivocally the answer is no. We can't skip it. It's a single part of building movement infrastructure. It's not just spectacle or performance for its own sake. We know that it took work from y'all to make that happen. And we know that in many places it was joyful and it felt like freedom in practice, while in other places like occupied cities and places with serious counter protesters, we know that that work took real risk. I'm looking at you, Chattanooga. I'm looking at you, Memphis. I'm looking at you, so many other places around this country and around the world that actually took this invitation seriously and planned a No Kings event. I want you to know that we honor that work. We honor that risk, and we see and witness your grief and your joy. Y'all, we're building here day in and day out, on and between these big moments of mass mobilization. And I think that's why you're here tonight. That's what the next few folks are going to talk about to us tonight. So let's get this kicked off. I'm so excited to shout out the mighty House of Labor. Their work on this No Kings has been incredible, and we know that their work before No Kings and beyond it is life-saving, sacred work. So to honor the House of Labor, I get to bring to you Liz Schuler, the president of the AFL-CIO, to start the conversation tonight about where we go from here. Liz, I will kick it to you.
Wow, wow, wow. Amazing. Ashley, thank you. And I get to be with you again tonight. I was with you on Saturday and just feeling so grateful. Hey, everyone. Again, I'm Liz Schuler, president of the FLCIO. We represent 15 million workers across 65 unions who are the backbone of this country. And it's great to be with y'all, especially coming off this incredible weekend. That video just got me all fired up all over again. I was in the Twin Cities on Saturday and my phone was blowing up all day with photos and texts from activists in every corner of the map. And it was just so inspiring. And I was so proud to stand alongside union members and community allies for literally the largest day of mobilization in our lifetimes. Yes. So to everyone on this call who organized, marched, recruited, thank you. To those who managed to get through it with grace and coalitions intact, I see you. And we showed that whether it's a big city, a small town, or deep in rural America, people are refusing to accept the status quo right now. But as I looked at the signs, of course, we love the signs, listen to the speakers, one thing became crystal clear to me, and that's the anger that we're feeling isn't necessarily partisan, it's personal. You know, we need to have a real conversation about where we go from here. But I think we've been told this story for a long time that our country is so divided. But when I look at the numbers, I'm looking at the 87% of Americans who say we're in a cost of living crisis. I look at the 90% who are stressed out about the price of groceries. And so whether people have a D or an R or an I or whatever next to their name, rent is still too high. Your paycheck still doesn't stretch to the end of the month. And you're still worried that the boss or the people running this country don't give a damn about your family. So that is our common ground. We're fed up with an economy that treats workers like an expense to be minimized instead of the engine that makes everything run. So we have to meet each other in that shared experience. Because if we can agree that shit costs too much and we're all getting squeezed, then we can start working together to fix it. So how do we keep this momentum moving? Well, for the labor movement, we have 2 days coming up that are deeply held times of reflection on workplace safety, immigrant workers, and the sometimes brutal fight that those who came before us waged to ensure that workers have rights. And so those two dates that are coming up are Workers' Memorial Day on April 28th, and of course, May Day, May 1st, International Workers' Day. So this year, those 2 days aren't just days of reflection, they're days of demand. And especially now, as we're seeing attacks on our safety standards, our civil rights, our very right to organize, we're standing up for a worker centered vision of America. And what is that vision? Well, a vision where we aren't just surviving, we're thriving. A vision where AI serves the worker, not the bottom line. And instead of pouring billions into a war we didn't ask for, that we invest that money right here in our schools, our hospitals, our infrastructure. So from now through November, the AFL-CIO and our state and local movements are going to be in the streets, at the work sites, making sure everyone knows the issues at stake in the next election, that we're protecting everyone's right to vote, and making sure that working people are unified in our economic demands and that every single vote is counted. So I think the bottom line here is we need to stay connected. And of course, you can always find us at aflcio.org. I'll just say we're done being divided by people who don't know what it's like to struggle. We're finding common ground, and we're going to win a future with dignity for all of us. So thank you again for your incredible efforts this past weekend. Let's keep it going, and I'll see you out there. Thanks so much, Ashley.
Thank you so much, President Schuler. You heard it here. 428, we're going to be back together fighting in defense of working people for Workers' Memorial Day. And you're going to hear more about May Day coming, but we are going to be supporting our workers. So if you're like, yo, like, I don't really feel like I'm a part of the labor movement, that's okay. Don't we want to be building community solidarity with our workers? I certainly do. And I know you do too. So let's make sure that we're doing the work to be prepared for 428 and May 1st. Y'all heard it. I see you chatting me on Blue Sky, but I want you to take a second and I want you to tell me how you can bring this big tent messaging that you just heard from the AFL-CIO president calling us to be in solidarity with one another. How can you take that messaging and connect with folks across shared experience to build our movement over the next few months so that we're ready for April 28th, so that we're ready for May 1st? I want you to think beyond just those who are already showing up on Saturday. Who else needs to be invited? And again, use the hashtag No Kings and hashtag No Kings What's Next to tell me what you're thinking. Let's be in dialogue tonight. Liz mentioned that she was in Minnesota, and so was I. Shout out to the Twin Cities. There's so much more to say about the incredible folks and the incredible work that folks have been doing there, not only in relationship to No Kings, not only in relationship to ICE Out work, but certainly for decades in that place. And what Liz was saying about the economic demands are so clear in that incredibly sacred place, right? We know folks are actually struggling to make rent and to buy food, and tomorrow's the 1st, right? Many of those folks are maybe going to be evicted because they can't afford the rent. So these things are evident to us right now, and our ability to support and flank those folks requires our practice of solidarity, not just our values of it. So thank you for that reminder, Liz. Tonight's call wouldn't be right if we didn't give some shine to what the Twin Cities have gone through over the past few months and the incredible work that they've done to defend vulnerable communities, let alone show up on March 28th. And for that reason, I'm so excited to bring on Edwin Torres de Santiago with the Immigrant Defense Network of Minnesota. Edwin, I will kick it to you.
Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Ashley, and everyone for joining tonight's call. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, as an immigrant, as someone who has been undocumented for 25 years, whose parents had to be in hiding, and I want everyone here who's part of our communities, who if you've been in hiding, if your loved one has been in hiding, know that hiding is a form of resistance. And I was able to embrace my mom and dad a few weeks ago. Over the last 100 days, Operation Metro Surge really took a toll in our community. I'm Edwin Torres de Santiago. I manage the Immigrant Defense Network here in the state of Minnesota. We are a regional, multiracial, multicultural coalition rooted in a simple belief that immigrants are a blessing. Immigrants are a blessing to this country, And together with the work of this network, led by ACLU Minnesota, Advocates for Human Rights, Copal Minnesota, Land Stewardship Project, Minnesota Aid, Interfaith Coalition of Migration, UFCW, thank you for the labor leaders that have been holding it down in IATA leads. We've been together, have built one of the largest, strongest coalitions to defend immigrant rights in our own backyard. When ICE agents showed up to our communities, we were ready. We knew what had happened across the country, and we knew we needed to train and organize our community. But what we were not ready was how our community was going to show up for each other, to love each other, to defend each other. Because when they came for one of us, they were coming for all of us. We have trained over 33,000 constitutional observers in every corner of the state of Minnesota. We have crisscrossed now across the upper Midwest into Iowa, Wisconsin, South Dakota, and North Dakota, partnering with organizations to bring constitutional observing training. We have supported families in real time. At the height of Operation Metro Surge, we were getting 500, 600 calls a day, a call every 2 minutes. 24/7 of people being detained, of children's calling saying, I just came home and my mom and dad are not here. And I will not kid to you, there were moments where I was afraid that it would be one of my loved ones that will be calling the hotline asking for support. The reality is they executed 2 of our neighbors. I was there when they killed Renee Good. I was given a training when they killed Alex Preddy. Our communities have come together in ways that I have no words to describe, and that's why I was so honored that we were hosting the flagship for the nation for No Kings 3. We and our neighbors were together. We've been together in negative 30-degree weather. We've been together when they are gunning down our community. We've been together when they've detained our loved ones and our parents and our elders. And we're together now for the future. We are forever changed here in Minnesota, and you can hear the crack in my voice, but not in my feet. We will march forward. We will stand in solidarity. And I am so thankful that all of you are witnessing what the power of love can do when we decide to love each other and stand in solidarity. So to the No Kings Coalition, to everyone watching and listening, know that all we ever had was a whistle and a book that trained us how to be constitutional observers. We will forever continue to love our neighbor and never forget that immigrants are a blessing to this country, and we are a blessing to our communities. So in closing, I want to share one thing. Saturday was historic. Some of us have not even slept. But just know that it was not just about that one day. It was about what comes tomorrow. ICE is not fully entirely out of our communities, and now they're going everywhere. We are here to stand in solidarity with our friends in Vermont and Louisiana and every other major corner of the state and our country. We stand in solidarity with you and the No Kings Coalition because this may have started with an election. It will end with an election. And thank you so much for the No Kings Coalition for bringing us together and shining a spotlight into our beloved community. Thank you.
Edwin, you, my friend, are a blessing to this country. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your witness. Thank you for your testimony. We are grateful to follow your leadership, and you're not alone. We're still ready to fight. When the Twin Cities call, we're there. When the state of Minnesota calls, we're there. So we're so grateful for you being with us tonight. Thank you again for your leadership, my friend. Folks, for those of you that are moved by hearing what our brother Edwin shared, or who may be wondering, how can I prepare my community for something like what they have survived and are surviving? We want to share a few quick resources with you. First, we're dropping a link to a basic guide on how to build your own neighborhood or block-based signal group. Many of you may already be working in these ways, but for those of you who aren't, it's not too late. In fact, it's right on time. We need you to start building this infrastructure right now. So this kind of community-based infrastructure, making sure that you know your neighbors, can help enormously in getting us all ready to defend against ICE and all of the other ways that this administration is trying to terrorize our communities. So check out that toolkit. Second, we're also dropping the sign up for an Eyes on ICE Train the Trainer that you can join and learn how to push back on ICE abuses on your home turf. This is where we stand up. This is how we stand up for communities that are under threat right now from these people that are trying to abuse our neighbors. So again, you can do two things. You can use this guide on how to create a neighborhood or block-based signal group, and you can sign up for the Eyes on ICE Train the Trainer. I need you to do those two things. And when you've done them, I want you to say, Ash, I did it, so I can see you in the chat. Yeah, this is where we move from talking about mutual aid to building the infrastructure to do mutual aid, right? Let's keep it pushing. Next up, I am thrilled that we are joined tonight by the one, the only Sarah Parker, 5051's national coordinator. Shout out to all of our 5051 folks who brought incredible energy, incredible turnout, and their expertise to March 28th. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Ashley. And I'm just one of the many national coordinators. First off, my name is Sarah Parker. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the executive director of Voice of Florida Fund. But most importantly, and today, I am a national coordinator with 5051. I want to kind of ground us in this moment, and I want to honor each and every one of you, regardless of if you attended or you hosted in Oak Kings. I want to be super clear. You are the actual heroes of this story. You're the ones holding reckless men terrorizing our neighborhoods accountable and kidnapping our children. You're the ones demanding an end to abortion bans. You are the ones demanding peace and justice for your Black and Brown and LGBTQIA communities while they're being scapegoated and murdered. You are the ones demanding that we shouldn't have to decide between feeding our children, keeping your lights on, or healthcare. I want to be clear. I went to the gas station today. Gas prices are skyrocketing. Food is skyrocketing. This isn't affordable, but even worse, this isn't sustainable. And you are the ones that are demanding basic human needs. You are the ones demanding an end to an illegal, reckless, and dangerous war in Iran. We are facing and will continue to face attacks by this authoritarian administration. And that man, as I said, in Minnesota, has an ego of a king and a temperament of a child, and I stand on that. Being an organizer for over 10 years in the South, specifically in Florida, I've learned a few things. And one of those things I've learned is that we cannot cede an inch to authoritarianism. I've also learned that we are not on the way to fascism. Fascism is at our door and it is knocking. And you cannot cede an inch to power grabs. We need to snatch back the narrative, and we saw all of us across the country and the world take that back. We took back that narrative. We are taking back our country. If you notice, they were eerily silent about the protest because it scares them. People power scares them. Us taking that narrative back scares them. We showed up, we were disciplined, and we are not giving up. We're going to continue to resist, and I want to be clear, you are a part of that resistance. One of my dear friends always tells me when I'm crashing out about something, Sarah, the truth is immutable. That means it cannot be burned, it cannot be changed, it cannot be stolen. And one of the things they like to do is make us out to be the villains, and we are not the villains. They are. You guys are the heroes. The truth is immutable. You are the linchpin in our democracy, and that's important. That's a privilege. That's an honor. No Kings wouldn't be what it is without each and every one of you, the ones that attended, the ones that hosted it. And this is a grassroots movement. This is a people-powered movement. And this is not just a talking point for me. As someone that has a leaderful movement, we don't have one leader in 5051. I'm saying that. I don't care if you are a 5051 chapter, an indivisible chapter, an individual grassroots organizer, a partner in No Kings, a legacy organization. All of you made this happen. That's 8 million people, y'all. 8 million people. That is a lot of people. The opposition has studied and lessons from the civil rights movement. This isn't a new playbook that they wrote. They have done it, and they did it for years before this moment. To some people, this just happened overnight, and it did not. It was strategic. It was intentional. That means we have to be strategic. We have to be intentional. And if my ancestors and our ancestors and the people that came before us that were on the right side of history can do it, we can take back that same playbook and we can run with it. I know there's a lot of criticism. I think Ash said that, but I want to be super clear. Protest is an entry point. It cannot be the end of your engagement and cannot be the end of our engagement. This is how you activate people. This is how you start to move people. This is a place where you can find new organizers and new volunteers locally. They are ready for you. They are asking for more work. They want to be a part of their community. And if you are just an attendee, find a home. Follow an organization on Facebook. Get more involved, not just when National calls for No Kings. Get more involved. Partner with Mayday when they come out. These things are important. We have to build real power. We have to be willing to get uncomfortable and collaborate beyond our usual circles. We cannot shame people into joining us. We cannot shame people into thinking the way that we need them or want them to. I know this is hard, but we must meet people where they are. Even when it comes to our own side, we must assume good intentions. So our task today and in the future is to build lasting community power, to bridge gaps, support our neighbors, sustain our resistance, build our organizing muscles, meet with community leaders in your local community, have hard conversations, plan, recruit, organize together. Like the people on this call, these people are my organizing family. Create an organizing family. You don't have to be a part of the same group, because we do not have a choice. For every minute we're not working together is another minute for our opposition to gain more power. Mutual aid is a part of that power building, whether that looks like something that Voices does as backpack drives or meeting immediate community needs. It is an important puzzle piece to this puzzle. Education and training matters because we all have more to learn. We cannot afford to believe that we are the smartest people in the room when it comes to organizing. Open your mind, read, get books, watch movies, meet, have community meetings again, and learn more. Go to trainings, even if it's a No Kings training or a local training in your area. We must also use our economic leverage. We got to hit them where it hurts, y'all. And this includes the Mayday actions and broader economic pressure campaigns. I want to leave you guys with one thing. A man devoid of hope and conscious of being, so has ceased to belong to the future. I said this in Minnesota, and I'm going to say it one more time. A man devoid of hope and conscious of being, so has ceased to belong to the future. Hope is a discipline. We must stay disciplined, stay engaged, partner with Mayday, stay in community, celebrate small wins, get uncomfortable, and have hard conversations. Don't you ever dare give up. Thank you guys so much. You guys made it happen.
Sarah, we love you. We love the whole 5051 team. She just preached a word. Somebody should say amen in the chat. Folks, we're getting closer to what I know is the part of the call that y'all are super eager for, which is, well, all this is lovely, but can you be even more concrete about what we're going to do about the situation that we are in? And I feel like Sarah and Edwin and Liz gave us lots of good things that we should be paying attention to. They are, in fact, the perfect segue to that, because the perspectives that they're bringing on local power building are exactly what we're going to dig more into now. We're going to start by dropping in the chat a one-page worksheet on how to take action that'll be a good warm-up for what's next. I want you to grab it. I want you to save it. I want you to use it. I want you to share it. If you miss it in the chat, we're going to keep dropping it. And we're also, again, going to send you all of these links after tonight's call. So no sweat if you miss it in the very fast moving chat. We're going to make sure you get them all. For those of you on We Act app, we're going to make sure that it's all there as well. You're going to get this by also going to the website that is right there below my name. If you keep going down, you can see it, nokings.org/what's-next. So go make sure you go to that link, because we're going to be putting all of this information up there. And now I have the esteemed privilege and honor to bring up someone who is my friend and colleague. I want y'all to give a warm welcome to Leah Greenberg, co-executive director of Indivisible. Shout out to all the Indivisible groups who keep throwing down on No Kings. Welcome, Leah.
Thank you. Hi, Ash. Welcome, everyone. It's great to be here with you tonight. I am going to try to offer a little bit of a strategic frame for where we are headed and talk about the first of our asks for you. So I'll just launch in. No Kings 3 was a historic day of defiance. And also, you are on this call because you know, as we do, that no one day of protest is going to fix things. No Kings is incredible. It's also a tactic and a strategy. The strategy is about fostering mass defiance and local power everywhere in this country to resist Trump and MAGA's attacks on our freedom, safety, and well-being, and ultimately to build something better. On Saturday, that looked like more than 8 million people coming out. This week and next week, that needs to look like us translating as much of that energy as possible into local connections, community, and power building. We're in a pivotal year. Trump is losing support fast. He is flailing. Flailing would-be dictators are dangerous. They don't go quietly, they lash out. That is why he invaded Minnesota. That is why he launched an illegal, catastrophic war with Iran. That is why we are fully expecting him to try to sabotage the upcoming midterms elections. How do we stop that? We stop it by building our power. We talk about the 3.5% of the population that is needed to mobilize to successfully stop dictatorship. Every time we do one of these, we're like, or we're getting a little closer. But that figure is not about a single day. It is about getting people into ongoing, sustained civic engagement everywhere in the country. That is what actually defeats dictators. So when we are organizing Ice Watch trainings or volunteering to support immigrants in our area or getting our block on a signal chat so we can protect each other, that is how we build. When we are doing mutual aid to support people who are struggling or under threat, that is how we build. When we organize and advocate at the state and local level, that is how we build. And of course, when we get ready for a big, powerful show of force on May Day, which Nighty will talk about shortly, that is how we build. No action alone is going to fix things, but together it all creates that tapestry of defiance that is necessary and builds the muscles we are going to draw on as we face challenges ahead, from further Trump attacks to threats to our election. So our top ask for you tonight is a little more complicated than usual because there is no one simple website to go to or single action to take. This is not about building a national email list or a simple digital action. It is about the work of getting into relationship and information in real life. Our ask is that sometime in the next couple weeks, you get into a room with people in your community to talk about what you can do together to be part of that tapestry of defiance and to build towards that 3.5%. If you are leading a group or an organization, many of you who have been part of the hosting process, you got this ask earlier before No Kings. If you're leading a group or an organization, or if you're just really personally fired up and want to keep going, put a meeting on the calendar. Invite the people who came to your No Kings event, or just invite your friends and neighbors. We have prepared a toolkit to help you talk about what is next, what kinds of work you could do together, how all of our work ladders up to that big goal of resisting. And we want to give that to you, and we'll make that available to you so that you can actually have those meetings and think about what you do together to stay in formation and in motion. If you're an individual, look to the organizations, the groups, the coalitions who organize No Kings in your town. Are you on their email list? Have you reached out to them? Do they have an upcoming meeting scheduled or a campaign you could get involved in? Sign up, go, contact, reach out. I know everyone loves a simple action, but the moment that we are in is going to call for us to stretch. It calls for us to meet our neighbors. It calls for us to show up and get in real life relationship to the people in our community who are building, to invest in each other. At its heart, No Kings is about reasserting that in the face of authoritarianism, corruption, and cruelty, the people have the power. That is how we keep going. That is how we build. And now I'll hand it over to Ash.
Leah, we are so grateful for you and your leadership. I'll be grateful for that husband of yours. Shout out to Ezra. And I see a whole bunch of the Indivisible fam in the chat. So thank you all for not regarding it robbery to be here tonight and for all of your leadership in the No Kings Coalition. We're grateful. Y'all, Leah said it. The work we have ahead might not always feel straightforward. I see your questions in the chat about what can we do? What do we do about this issue? What do we do about this attack? All of those questions are important, and all of the work that we're going to do around those issues is necessary. And the need right now is abundant, which means that there are so many next actions that you can take. Sometimes that can feel overwhelming, but I want you to see it as an opportunity to get in where you fit in, to find your role, know it, and play it excellently. You can build mutual aid action infrastructure, whether it's a backpack and school supply drive with your local teachers union, or a hot meal train for immigrant communities, whether it's building a community food market like Food Not Bombs used to do, or maybe it's a parent swap for childcare events, or long-standing infrastructure that you're building around mutual aid. What can you do to meet people's needs, especially when we're living in state realities where the government has almost holistically abandoned us, right? You could ask neighbors to join a community WhatsApp or Signal group chat to be able to communicate urgent alerts, community support needs, and foster direct connections between community members. I see so many of you in the chat that have already taken that toolkit that we dropped earlier tonight. We'll keep dropping it. You could participate and spread the word about Ice Watch trainings. And again, you could join the 420 Eyes on Ice Train the Trainer. We need you to sign up for that so that you're ready when ice comes to the neighborhood that you're in. You can get down with warehouse fights. Check out Project Saltbox and the Communities Not Cages toolkit. We'll make sure you've got access to that. You can fight to end 287G agreements. I know there's some folks in cities and states where you've been building local and statewide movement to stop these 287G agreements between local and state police to cooperate with ICE. Keep that work up. Join that movement. You can be hosting Fourth Amendment workplace drives to prepare staff for potential ICE raids. You could be opposing efforts to roll back rights and protections for trans people. Y'all know today's Visibility Day, and you saw that the Supreme Court is doing everything in their power to other trans folks. So we could support them not only by amplifying their leadership and like supporting the visibility effort, but by keeping them safe. You can join local and national efforts to defeat specific threats to election integrity, including the SAVE Act. I've seen some of you chatting about that tonight, including the MEGA Act, and pending U.S. Supreme Court decision on Calais, right? We know that that is going to be a death knell to any even semblance of free and fair elections. Not that they aren't already making that a thing of the past if it was ever more than a myth anyway, right? There's so much that you can be doing. You could join local election protection coalition efforts. You could rock with the freedom trainers like I do and get trained in non-cooperation. Did you know that there are at least 300 nonviolent tactics that you can be taking to slow down and stop this authoritarian threat in a neighborhood that you are in? Y'all, we're going to drop links in the chat right now. And here's what I want you to remember to just keep it simple. Now is a time for us to be gathering, right? This is a time, I hear Maurice Mitchell in my head from the Working Families Party. This is a moment of addition and multiplication, not division and subtraction. We need to be a bigger, badder, more strategic we. Y'all, it's going to be uncomfortable. We don't all agree on everything. But if you boil it down, our ask for you tonight is to go forth and gather with your people. My hope is that how you define your people is expansive in this moment. I want you to talk with them. I want you to listen to them. And I want you to collectively develop what's next. Organizing is bringing people together across their differences to be able to take collective action together. I want you to be doing what makes the most sense in your community. So we're dropping a toolkit to walk you through exactly how to do it and what actions you might take next together. Just suggestions, certainly a place to start. And you might be wondering again, like, who do I gather with? Well, if you already lead a local group of some kind, I know you're probably already thinking about this, but plan one of these meetings to move more people toward action and pull in folks who showed up on Saturday. If you're not already leading a group, you can still do that. Yes, you can step into your own calling, your own leadership, and invite friends and neighbors, community members, walk through the guide together. You're going to get it in that toolkit. Make a plan for action together. Or even better, you could find an organization that's in your area that's already working to build power collectively, that's already building the common good for one another, with one another. And you could plug in with them. You could get connected to them. You can look up people you saw at No Kings. You can ask folks who attended that you know. You can contact the event organizer for your local No Kings event and ask which organization you might be able to join based on the things that are keeping you up at night and the desires you have for your community. This is a moment where we get to define who is America, right? Who gets to be included? We get to be a welcoming place for everybody that's down for the common good, right? There are so many paths to go about this. So the most important thing is that you pick one, that you gather with people, that you listen to and talk with them, and that you keep taking a faithful action. One next step towards building beloved community, towards building healthy, sustainable, and equitable communities. For those of you that are talking to me on Blue Sky, I want you to tell me, who are you going to gather with? And what action do you think y'all will take next? Again, if you were on Blue Sky, I want you to tell me, who are you going to gather with? And what action do you think that y'all will take next? And on that note, I'm so glad that our final speaker tonight is going to talk about one more possible action path that you can take. I want to go on and like not bury the lead. I am fully and proudly throwing down on what you're about to hear about. So, folks, please give a huge and warm No Kings welcome to Nady Dominguez, my sister, and one of the incredible leaders of organized power in numbers. Nady, I will toss it to you.
Thank you, Ash. Hi, everyone. It's so beautiful to see all of us here. Just want to say hi, good evening. Thank you for being here. My name is Nady Dominguez. I'm the Executive Director of Organized Power Numbers. I'm a member of the coalition organizing to make May 1st a day where we all say together that we want a country that puts workers over billionaires all the time, every day. That's May Day Strong. I also want you to know a little bit about me because I feel like that's gonna give you a sense of why this is so important to me. I'm a proud Mexican immigrant. I'm a labor organizer. I'm an immigrant rights organizer and a mom of 3-year-old twins. Just last year, I became a US citizen and casted for the first time my first vote ever after living in the United States for the last 30 years. What a time to have the freedom and privilege to be able to vote. I understand now more than ever how sacred that right is and how many died before me, generations before me, for us to have this right. So I am deeply committed to continue to fight for that right along all of you, alongside all of you. Thank you for standing up for justice and for freedom. I know in my heart that we will prevail. I know these are trying times. You know, every day I wake up wondering how much longer can we go the way that we're going, but I know that we will win. Mayday Strong is a coalition of more than 200 labor and community organizations across the country, local, national, regional. Last year, we threw down in the long tradition of radical May Day actions, including a day without an immigrant in 2006. Maybe y'all remember this, but 20 years ago, millions of people hit the streets on May Day, standing up for immigrant workers. We pulled off one of the biggest May Days in history last year, with more than 1,300 actions across the country. And this year, we're going to go even bigger with all your help, and we need you to make it happen. Our demands for May 1st, 2026 are clear. Tax the billionaires so our families, not their fortunes, come first. No ICE, no war, no private armies for authoritarian power. Expand democracy, not corporate power. On No Kings, you showed each other that we're not alone and that we're ready to fight. On May Day, we will continue to show each other that we have more collective power to flex. They are trying to take away the power of our vote, but we will use the power as workers and consumers to make sure that we stop them. It will take all of us doing more than we've done ever before to protect our basics rights. But to build a world where our lives are valued, where our families can succeed, and where we all can live a good life, it's gonna take all of us. It's gonna take more of us taking more risks together. We're going to have to make these demands and back them up on May Day, not because one day alone will change anything. You heard that from Leah, you've heard that from Ash, you see the pattern here. But because all of those days together can change everything. And I deeply believe that, and I know you're here because you do too. Anywhere, anytime that authoritarianism has shown up, the determining factor of it succeeding has been one thing: the response of the labor movement, the response of working people, the response of people like you showing up against it. So on May 1st, we're following Minnesota's lead. Just feeling so grateful for all the Minnesotans on this call. We're taking your lead. We're calling for you to join us in taking a part on the No Work, No School, No Shopping pledge this May Day 2026. We're asking everyone to do as much as you're able to. You may not be able to do all three of those. That's okay. But know that you can do one of them, and we need more of us to be doing one, or if you can, all of them. As the mother of a daughter, I look at her and see a generation of women who will have less rights than I did growing up. As an immigrant whose heart broke seeing Leon Ramos used as bait to detain his own parents, as someone who has organized for working people to have a voice and respect and dignity on the job, I see how they're kicking Black women out of the workforce and taking away all of our rights. And I know as that you yourselves are asking yourselves the same question I ask myself every day. Am I doing enough to stop it, to protect them, to create something better together? And that's why my organization decided to become an anchor of Mayday Strong. Together, we need to stretch and test ourselves. We need to grow our power to truly win. On May Day 2026, we are building our strength to do exactly that, to build the muscle we need to stop this regime and build a world that works for all of us. May 1st is just the beginning, just like the first step was just last Saturday of all of us showing up for ourselves. So I have 3 asks. One, we're asking all of you to take the pledge of no work, no school, no shopping on May 1st, 2026. If you can do one of them, like I said, or you can do all of them. We are testing ourselves, we're stretching ourselves. 2, we want you to, consider hosting an action near you in your own town, in your own neighborhood. Gather your neighbors, gather your friends, make your voices heard. May Day actions across the country are being planned as we speak, and you can find one near you at maydaystrong.org. I will repeat that again, maydaystrong.org. And 3, we are working very closely with our local businesses and every neighborhood that we can to really have them both be educated about what they can do as employers if I shows up to their workplace, and also how they can be in solidarity on May Day for all working people in their neighborhoods. So if you are someone that wants to learn how to have that conversation with your own local business, to how to talk to folks about their Fourth Amendment right at the workplace, please also visit maydaystrong.org to learn more about that. Our next training around, training up local businesses and employers is April 9th, and you can find more information about that on maydaystrong.org. Thank you, all of you, for being here, for showing up again and again. We can do this, si se puede. We are who we've been waiting for. I will see you on May Day 2026, making the biggest, most boldest May Day we have yet in history. Thank you all.
Nady, we love you. We're grateful for your decades of service to building the kind of community that we all have always deserved. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your compassion. Thank you for your invitation. We are excited. Y'all, Nady told us what to do. We got to take the pledge. We've got to host an action or attend an action. We got to spread the word. I want you to follow Robin Richards' lead. And if you're down, I want you to say I'm in. I want you to do it by going to maydaystrong.org. Take the pledge, sign up for an action, find an action. And once you've done that, I want you to say I'm in. You can tell me in the chat on either of the live streams. You can tell me on Blue Sky or socials, but I want you to actually do it. I want you to prove that you've done it. I want you to share it with your folks. And then I want you to tell me that you have done the work, that we're going to be in this together, that we're going to see each other out in the streets, not shopping, not schooling, not working on May Day. If you're down and you're going to put in the work, I want you to do it and tell me you're in. Y'all, there's so many things that you've learned on this call tonight about what you can do. But if we've got to break it down to make it simple, let me recap. I want you to build power locally. I want you to not just commit and want to protect your neighbors. I want you to train up and build the infrastructure to protect your neighbors. I want you to escalate and innovate, because that's what this administration is putting us in a position to have to do. I want you to defend our elections from sabotage, and let's not bury the lead here. They are already sabotaging our elections. Well, Ashley, how do we do that? Well, again, you've heard us talk about the 3.5% that we need to be engaging millions of people in every community, taking action locally to make a real difference in people's lives and sustaining those actions. We got to reach new people who aren't actively engaged. And how we do that is by supporting local campaigns and advocacy initiatives, by organizing mutual aid, by asking our neighbors to join a community WhatsApp or Signal group chat, right? How do we protect our neighbors, Ashley? Well, we push back on ICE on our home turf. We stand up for communities that are under threat. Well, how do we do that? Well, it looks different in different places, but it can include ICE watch trainings, right? It includes warehouse fights. It includes ending these 287G agreements. It includes hosting Fourth Amendment workplace drives, right? It includes opposing efforts to roll back rights and protections for trans people and queer people, for everybody, old folks, young folks, it doesn't matter. What they're trying to do is divide us. And what we're saying is that we are only going to be as safe as our least protected neighbor. It's our responsibility to build the infrastructure to keep them safe, not just to chant that we keep each other safe. Somebody say, I'm preaching to myself tonight. Somebody say, I'm down to protect my neighbors. Well, what does escalating and innovating look like? Well, growing interest and testing our movement capacity to disrupt business as usual through non-cooperation, right? How do you do that? You join these Mayday actions, or you step up and you host one. You participate in boycotts of corporations that are supporting this regime and benefiting off of our suffering, like Target, like Home Depot, like Enterprise, like Hilton, right? You identify a pillar of support, whether it's media or business, education, civil servants, faith, labor, etc., to organize within that pillar of support, the pillar that is supporting this administration. You organize within it to weaken support for the regime, right? Or it looks like being a striking worker or supporting a striking worker. It looks like supporting strike funds, participating in calls for general strikes. It looks like going to strike schools, right? That's all the ways that you can do it and more, right? How do you defend our elections from sabotage? What's the point? Well, we've got to educate the public about how it's already happening, right? What does voter suppression look like where you live? What does manipulating results potentially look like? And how do we prepare for it? How do we reduce electioneering, right? How do we resist this opposition that is manipulating the elections for their own benefit, right? Keeping people from voting because they know if people actually come and vote based on what we believe, they would lose, right? How do you do it? Well, you join local and national efforts to defeat specific threats to election integrity, including the SAVE Act, including MEGA Act, including the pending US Supreme Court decision on Calais. Right. And if you don't know how to do that, y'all, many of the organizations that are on tonight have already put out calls to action around it. You can go to their websites, hit me up. I'm happy to share them. Join We Act community and actually see the calls to action there. Join local election protection coalition efforts. Be mindful to coordinate with local coalitions, y'all. They already exist. Many of the things that you're interested in, people are already doing. So I want to remind you again that you can go to nokings.org/what's-next. You can go to every single website of every single organization that was on here tonight. You should be dropping them $5, $10, $100, whatever you've got. We should be financially supporting them. We should be showing up and doing the calls to action that they have across their websites. Again, you can find many of them on weactnow.com. Y'all, tonight is the night where we move from talking about what's next to doing what's next. And if you are down for that, I need you to tell me I am down in the chat. I need you to go on your socials. I'm talking to y'all on Blue Sky. I want to see you there telling me what commitment you're making tonight. Are you going to defend our elections from sabotage? Are you going to escalate and innovate? Are you going to protect your neighbors? Are you going to build power locally? I want you to let me know so we can hold each other accountable to these concrete next steps, so that when the skeptics or when the opposition says that all we did was one day of protest, we've got the receipts to tell them it's not true. Y'all, it has been a pleasure and an honor to MC our call for this evening. I want to show some love to every single one of our speakers, all of the staff from all of these organizations that made tonight's call possible. And I want to remind you to find a Mayday event as one next step that you can take tonight. We love you, we respect you, and we want you to be free. We'll see you next time.